My name is Ilya. And as was said, I'm currently working at Wise. I've been working at Wise for 8 years and leading product teams in what we call servicing, which covers financial crime prevention, customer support, treasury, and finance. And today I wanted to share with you the lessons that I've learned over the 8 years I've been in the company on how to develop products and how to do this from maybe looking on this from the different angles, a little bit scientific angle, analytical angle, and through the customer viewpoint. And since I'm going to talk about experience of Wise, it might as well be good to set the context. What is this? Just to check, how many of you have heard about Wise or TransferWise before? All right, so a little bit more than half of people. Effectively, we are doing international money transfers. We now do international banking and also providing our technology for financial institutions and the companies that also has international money movement use case. Effectively, we work on money without borders, instant, convenient, and eventually free. And moving about 10 billion euros per month between different currencies, approximately. But what's more relevant for today's conversation is approximately the scale of our engineering team. So 8 years ago when I've joined, it was 5 teams. Today it's 1,500 product engineering organization. It's 120 teams, and they are distributed across 30 locations. So that gives about the scale, and then the exercises on like which types of the scale they been applied to. And I want to start with the quick exercise, which is setting product vision in 3 minutes. And let me start with the question to you. If you are, imagine you are selecting the car, like what properties you would consider? What would matter for you? Any thoughts? Money? Safety? Aesthetics, like how it looks? Yeah. So you have these parameters of the car, like the things that people care about, the things that they use to select the car. It can be consumption, price, speed, all of those items. Those are the words that customers are using, the things that are important for them. Let me get a little bit more silly example, a chair. Imagine you want to select a chair. What properties you would care about? Comfort. Yes, comfort. Back support. Yes, healthiness. Anything else? Design. Yeah. Safetiness as well. I can imagine price, right? So you have those parameters that you care for the chair. And the fun thing is you can do this exercise for any type of the product, from chair to car, whatever. And you would have those parameters. And effectively, what you can do, you can tune those parameters and set some on the maximum, some on the smaller value. So you kind of prioritize safetiness and utility, and you get Volvo. You prioritize, I don't know, performance and aesthetics, and you get Ferrari. And this can be done not only for the physical product, but something like less fungible, financial products as well. So let's do this exercise one last time. So for money transfers, or actually financial institutions, which parameters you would care about? Speed, safetiness, cost as well, right? So it's pretty clear as well, the trust to them. And wait a minute, I've already showed you this slide already. It's more or less a mission statement of Wise. money without borders, instant, convenient, trustworthy, and eventually free. To be honest, when I've joined 8 years ago, the mission statement been the same. I don't know if our founders spent 3 minutes building this, or maybe less. But regardless of how much thinking they put into this, the mission statement stays the same. And it continues to be relevant. And it existed through the scaling from 5 teams to 120 teams that I've observed, and scaling from one product of international money movements to like essentially a wide variety of the products and services that Wise offers today. Why it's so? Because it's actually represent the things that customers are caring about. And this, in essence, is a customer view. And if I kind of go a little bit deeper into this, it's like essentially 2 steps. Understanding what customers want, and then fulfill their biggest wishes. And try to do this very well. Try to get the wow effect. In Wise, we have many ways how we can understand the customer wishes, but there are 3 instruments that are very, very common across all the teams that we have. One is NPS comments. So that's when we send surveys to our customers asking how likely they would recommend our product to their friends and family. And it's not the score that is really valuable. What's valuable is the comments that they give on the answer why. This gives really good and diverse insights. Customer support contacts. And then what is specific for us, we have like 3,000 operations, customer support agents answering the calls, reviewing like documents, doing investigations and suspicion activity, doing side-by-sides with them, because they are also a type of a customers for the company, is also very insightful. So when you think about this, then this proposition changes into the categorizing customer comments and then working on the largest driver. So you categorize them, sort them, and work on the largest one. Pretty much the strategy. So that's how it was. This is the slide, like real example slide from 2016, when I was working with the cards payment team. It's been me and 2 engineers. We were responsible for the checkout experience of TransferWise at that time, essentially funding transfers with the card transactions of the third-party banks. And we've been looking into the NPS comments of the customers, and like simple way how you can understand this, you just filter out all the comments that contains card word in it. And we expected all those questions about, I couldn't pay with my card, the experience is not convenient, this bank is slow, limits are low, yada, yada, yada. And we saw them. Around 40% of questions and comments were about this, but 60% of comments were about actually issuing Wise cards. And Wise at that moment of time was not a banking application. It didn't have the balances or anything. But well, we followed the top advice. We didn't know how to build issuance, but we set up this vision, which is essentially a summary of customer wishes. We worked really hard. And 2 years after that, this is a real customers, not staged one. Like we had 1 million customers using our cards and being super happy about them. And balances also got really big adoption. We just followed what customers been asking us, and we try and worked really hard to get to this war state. So you can do the same, and it actually is easier than ever right now. This is a Slack screenshot of my colleague. So a couple of weeks ago, he was playing with API of OpenAI, and he asked to summarize all the comments in Trustpilot, which is the review site with the public comments about the company, asked what are the top 10 things to work on fix for our product. And surprising thing, it gives the same answers that we know with the same exact order that we know. And this knowledge that took us really long time to understand, you can get summary with a couple of prompts already. For your company, maybe for incumbents in the industry that you are working on. Really invaluable knowledge. But if you want to be a little bit more precise, if you have this scientific thinking, you would want to have an analytical view. And so you would need to have a number, a metric. For example, let's say you're working on the new company that is focusing on growth, so you are thinking about monthly new users. But apart from that, you also have all other metrics. You have revenue, you have CPI, you have LTVs, you have contact rates, you have churn rates, all of those things, right? We heard about them today a lot. The head can go crazy. It's like, how do you prioritize between all of those metrics? How do you connect them? How do you build the coherent story and effectively have this list of the projects that you need to execute through? So the way how we learn to do this is take this metric and ask questions how and why. So you can ask questions how, and then you go into more specifics, right? So if you think about monthly new users, first those guys need to visit your site, then they need to sign up, then they need to select the product that they use, provide the details, then get to the checkout page, and that's how you do the how. And you can go deeper into the how and start looking into your marketing campaign or start looking into the problems with your conversion flows. And you can ask why, right? So if you want to have more new users, why do you need it? Because you want to have more active users, and because you want to have more transactions, more volume, more revenue maybe. And if you do this exercise for all of those metrics that you care, and you do this exercise carefully, what you will get is a tree-like structure, something like that. All right, so you will have the branches towards the left, being closer to the North Star metric, something that is very core, very big, but very hard to move. And branches to the right are more sensitive, more precise metrics. And you can go deeper into the branches and go to very specific bugs or very specific projects, like, I don't know, improving conversion of the landing page in Brazil, for example. And if you do this exercise well, what you usually tend to see is also that the relationship between the branches are like mathematical relationships. So you will see the size of product or sum. For example, let's say total monthly volume is active users multiply on volume per user. It's good because it allows you to compare those metrics between each other, but it's also good because it makes sure that you don't lose anything, right? Because it's the product, there is nothing less there, nothing more. And here is an example of this tree structure, the metric structure from spent product advice. This is from 2019, and you can see those branches. It's approximately the same tree. It looks actually quite similar to all the different products. And you see the different colors actually showing the different teams. It's also a very useful instrument to decide how to structure your team, how to structure your organization. You have, let's say, marketing team, growth team, processing team, and so on. And it's also useful exercise to build metrics, to build dashboard. You just turn this structure upside down, and you put the North Star KPI on top, and slowly go into the small details, giving you dashboard that gives you overview of your metrics, but also gives you possibility to dig down and see the details. Important part about the analytical thinking is not to overthink, not to spend too much time in the mathematics. So these two views, how to reconcile them? They actually have strong and weak sides, both, right? The customer view gets you closer to the customers, to the source of truth, what they are really saying. They are also much easier and faster to do and get that insight. Analytical view, however, although it requires a little bit more skills and efforts, gives you the precisions and allow you to kind of look a little bit farther into the future. The most amazing thing about this, though, is if you do rigorously exercise from the customer perspective and exercise from the analytical perspective through the metrics, through the math, and you will get the list of the things that you need to do in one way and in another. You will get two exact lists. So this is experiment, like actually very recent, from 2022 we done it twice. We've done this exercise of the opportunity sizing. We looked at all of the projects that all the teams in the company are working on. We've done this like return on investment analysis, and we get this map that is showing that there is a handful that are really big opportunities, and then you have like a longer tail of the smaller projects. And we've done analysis of the contacts. We just like looked at what are the topics our customers are contacting us about. And we got the same lists with approximately the same priorities. It's a very cool way, and it's kind of justification as well that you can just use the customer contacts or NPS to get the first very good approximation on what are the sequence of the priorities of the things that you need to do. But then there is last bit that I want to cover today. When you have this list in your hands, the question is how to move faster with this list. And I want to show this chart once again, right? So if you take all of the opportunities, all of the projects that you can work on, and you sort them by expected impact, and then you will show how many opportunities you will have of that scale, what you will see, there is a really handful of the things that are really, really big, and there is a lot of the things that are smaller. And it's kind of like exponential distribution. And what you really want to do is you want to deploy as much of your time and your team's time on those 1, 2 small number of really important things, and don't let yourself to get distracted by also valuable but much less important projects. So essentially, do as few things as possible, right? Controversial, but it's really, really important. And I have this joking number. It's like if you take a team and like remove the people who are doing, like helping the team to prioritize, like remove the product manager and maybe like a tech lead for a while, and you leave this team in stasis for a couple of quarters, what you will get this equilibrium number where you will have approximately 1.5 projects per engineers in this team. So they will start doing lots of different things. And not for the bad reasons, because like there is so many different things that people care about, and everyone cares about their own specific things. I'm recently become a father, and so I'm using this analogy, right? So there's a top 10 little ponies, but since I'm a father, I had the extensive study there, and I know for the fact that here it's also the truth that there is one very clear answer instead of 10 different ones. And we just need to spend time and prioritize and figure out what is the thing that we really need to be focusing on. Once again, I give an example from WISE, also real slide from 2019. This is the slide from the planning for the spend tribe. And essentially, it was showing the top opportunities. And we had, by that time already, like 30 engineers working in the spend tribe. But we still had this like direct processing. We needed to build our own processing, replacing the partners that we use. We needed to get the Visa deal, grow mobile team, et cetera, et cetera. And essentially, what we've done, we managed to allocate 75–80% of our resources on the direct processing. Maybe 5–10% were going into the setting up the deal with Visa, and then a little bit on the rest. We focused and invested as much as we could on the top opportunity. So, to summarize, like all those different fables and examples that I was talking about today, if you want to build a vision or a strategy, there's simple ways to do so. 3 steps. You can read contacts. 500 will be more than enough, or NPS comments, or if you don't have customer contacts yet. You categorize them, sort them. You focus as much time and effort on the top on the list. And then you build this. And you build as well the metric structure eventually that allow you to track the progress and do the forecasting into the future. So that's about it for today from me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This goes with me. Are there any questions from the audience?
I've been using TransferWise and then Wise as a customer for quite a while, and I've been quite happy. Thank you. But you guys have been going through quite a journey in terms of diversifying your product offering, i.e. becoming more of a fintech super app. Can you tell us a bit more about that journey in terms of the learnings, how you got to that growth, and where you think you're going on that side?
Yes. So first of all, thank you for using us. It's very pleasant to meet the customers always. On the journey part, as I was mentioning already, we largely been following what our customers been asking for. And then when we offer in the international money transfers, there's this like really large segment of those customers who are using us for the money transfers who need more than just transferring money. So you would need to transfer, but then you need to spend. You would need to send to many people in the different countries. You would want to receive in like different currencies. There's plenty of these adjacent use cases. And we've been hearing about them. It's like very crazy story, actually. There was a customer who was using Wise to pay for their travels to Europe from UK. And essentially, the way how he was doing this, to save money on the UK bank international transactions, he was finding random people on the internet forums, was sending them money over TransferWise, then finding them in Italy and taking euros from them, so not to pay the conversion to pounds. It's pretty crazy. So we've been listening to that feedback, and we're building the products that customers been asking for. And it's been rather hard as well, this transition from the transfer company to the balanced customers, to this international banking type of the proposition. It's a very big step change, and it actually required us to change the branding, to change the names, essentially rework the entire proposition and story about the product. But then, like going forward, I guess like there will be no as big changes now because there is like still really a lot to do in this international banking proposition on one side, and on the other side, there's like B2B side of the business where we providing our technology and licenses to the financial institutions and the businesses that kind of like goes through the direct sales channel, so it doesn't kind of, you build a little bit a separate culture on the side of the company. A little bit lengthy answer, sorry.
No, no problem. As long as it answers, it's perfect. Any other questions? Yes, one there, and then we're done with the questions. Thank you so much.
Hi, thanks again for your presentation. I've been using Wise Business for quite a while. It's very useful. So the question would be, how do you keep up with the competition? I mean, what is your process to be in touch with what other players in the industry are planning, launching, and so on? Thank you.
Yes. So, to be really honest, and maybe it's a little bit silly, but like we don't really look much after the competition. So the way how generally like we prioritize it, we have this like speed, convenience, price, coverage areas. We approximately know how they compare to each other in terms of importance to the customers, and like you can do this by like NPS comments once again and all that story that I was telling about. And then we generally have the teams distributed proportional to that, and they would just work really hard on improving, let's say, speed or reducing the underlying cost so you can reduce the price. And we are trying to do this very, like as fast as possible, essentially. And because we know that this is what customers need, it doesn't really matter what competitors are doing. They will be doing problems, like we'll be solving the same problems. So the question is like, would they be able to solve this faster than we do or not? But it does kind of like, if they already solved it, it will not help us anyways to move faster. So we just like trying to focus on this and execute faster. That's more or less how we operate internally. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.